Good morning, everybody. I'm so sad that you guys are not here. We just got used to seeing each other's faces, hey? And yeah, we're going to stay positive and we're going to do our best with all our work. Now, you guys have this comprehension. As I said in the phonics video, we were supposed to do it in our books, but we quickly had to make copies because we can't send you the textbooks home. So I'm quickly going to read through it as we did in the past. The story's name is One Man's Horse. Now it says one man's horse means the horse is the possession, and we use an apostrophe S. Awesome. So it's one of our grammar stuff that we studied. Now one day a king known as Caliph disguised himself as an ordinary person and sat on the horseback to find out how well his kingdom was being run. Now, can you remember when we did Shake? We said it's those guys with those dress-like things and they've got a cloth around their head. Now, if you look at those pictures on the paper, that is more or less, now this is the commoners, the people that's not from royal ascent. They are dressed like that in the Middle Eastern countries. So he decided disguise. This means you put on something different than what people see you. It's like if I should put up my hair and I will put on a funny hat and maybe draw myself a moustache and a beard, and I come in walking like a man, and you guys will wonder, who's this person now in our class? That's disguise. Okay, that you cover yourself and people can't see your true identity. And he was on horseback like a jockey to go and see how his kingdom was being run. Now remember, a king can't go to everybody's house all the time to check out how things are going, so you have to make different plans. So on the way, he came across an old lame beggar by the side of the road. Lame means you can't walk. Good traveler, said the beggar, I'm on my way to Basaro. Let me ride with you. So the Caliph helped the beggar up onto the horse's back. When they reached Basaro, the Caliph asked the beggar to get off the horse. But the beggar refused. Get off yourself, he said. In Basaro, we are both strangers. No one knows whose horse this is, and it will be your word against mine. The Caliph wondered what he should do. I was thinking, if I throw the beggar off the horse, he thought, he will make a big fuss. A crowd will gather and the people will tell me to give the old man his horse back. On the other hand, if I give the beggar money, I might get my horse back. But the old man might cheat someone else in the same way. If I ask a Kadai, that's a judge, to decide the matter, I might lose my horse. But at least I'll find out how well the Qadi of Basara does his work. So he had three options what he had to do. And so the Caliph and the beggar went to see the Qadi of Basara. Your Honor, said the Caliph, I am a traveler from a faraway country. A few miles outside your city, I met this lame beggar. I took pity on him, as you feel sorry for somebody, and brought him into the city on my horse. He now claims that my horse belongs to him. The Qadi turned to the beggar. What have you got to say? He asked him. The horse is mine, answered the beggar. I am just a poor, lame old man. If you take my horse away from me, I don't know what I shall do. And the beggar pretended to cry like, Arr! That's pretend, you don't really cry. Leave the horse with one of my soldiers and return to this courtroom tomorrow morning. The next morning the Qadi said to the beggar, Why have you repaid this man's kindness with ingratitude? Kindness, you all know when somebody's kind, they show kindness. It's one of our suffixes. Gratitude is when you are grateful. and you are thankful and you say, thank you so much for giving me a lift that I didn't have to try and walk by myself. Ingratitude means the opposite. So you are not thankful and grateful for what this guy wanted. It's like, walk away. Not thank you that you wanted to help me. That's ingratitude. Then he turned to the Caliph. Good traveler, the horse is yours. Take it and continue your journey. Your judgment is excellent, said the Caliph. But how could you tell who owned the horse? Remember, the last discussion he had with them both was to listen to each one's story. And according to each one's story, it's quite confusing because who do you believe now? Last night I put your horse in a stable that you and the beggar would have to pass on your way to the court today. This morning I went to the stable. When the beggar passed, the horse didn't even look up. But when you passed the open door, he stretched out his head and neighed, as horses only do when their master approaches. So you see, the matter was very simple after all. Simple, cried the Caliph. You are the wisest man I have ever met. Remember degrees of comparison? Wise, wiser, wisest. I am the Caliph, like I'm in charge of the country, the king. I need a man like you in my capital city. I shall make you the Grand Khadai. It's like we have a judge, but we also have a head judge or the highest authority in the courts. So he is now being promoted. Now see, sometimes people have to make very difficult decisions because you can't always believe people's word and they're sometimes very dishonest. So let's check our 20 questions. Okay, why did the Caliph want to travel around his kingdom? Number 2, why do you think he chose to go in disguise? Number 3, what act of kindness did he do on his journey? Number 4, why did the Caliph decide not to throw the beggar off? Number 5, why did the Caliph decide not to give the beggar money? Number 6, why did the Caliph want the Khadai to decide who should keep the horse? Number 7, how did the Khadai find out that the horse belonged to the Caliph? That you're going to write a little bit more than just a plain sentence. Why do you think the Caliph made the Khadai of Basaro the Grand Khadai? Now people, again, I ask you, in your lockdown books, you start with a date, you start with your heading, one man's horse, rule a line with a ruler, not with a free hand, and then number from 1 to 10, no, sorry, it's 8, but don't number ahead of time because you don't know how long your answer is going to be. And every week I have to ask you guys, answer in full sentences. That is how it's been expected when you get to the higher levels in Cambridge. You're not going to get any marks even if your answer is correct and it's not in full sentences. Also, please remember to start with a capital letter. And guys, some of you really make unnecessary spelling mistakes because you don't check out how to write the word that's printed in the piece. So come on, let's see if we can get everybody to not make any mistake in our comprehensions. Won't that be awesome? Okay, I suggest you read the story again quickly before you start and then answer the questions. Have a nice day, everybody.